Hey guys, welcome back to Contest Prep University. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson in episode 3 of our series on flawed peaking concepts. And we get to revisit the old water and sodium topic again, Adam. We probably cover this at least once a month in some fashion. But again, as much as I think people have the correct information, we have so many voices talking about it. There are still a lot of people who do extreme depletion and loading of sodium and water and then end up on the day of the contest super, super flat, super soft, getting the worst of every possible scenario. And yet for some reason, we just keep coming back to the table and doing the same thing over, which is why I kind of started this whole thing almost 30 years ago. Like that was my very first inclination. Why does everybody look worse on the day of a contest? I mean, I was 20 years old competing in my first contest, and I already determined that, like, I look awful. What happened? And then you go to that next show and you do it again. It's like, what in the world? And then you see photos of people, and you see everybody's this way. Why is everybody looking their worst? So in my early 20s, I was already creating these concepts of, wait a second, we actually need water on contest day. That's kind of a big duh moment. And then later looking at sodium and so forth. So if you have clients or inquiries who still don't quite get that, what's the best way that you know to explain this and get them on board trusting that process?
Yeah, so experimentation can be huge. I get clients all the time who still sign up with me and will be 6 or 7 weeks out. And they'll say, I know you're going to have me drink water on show day. I know this about you and I'm scared to do it. So I'll let them have it their way when it's not contest day. So a lot of times I'll take a weekend to do this. I'll say, okay, on Saturday, I want you to take a fasted set of photos, no water, and then go until noon. And if you really want 3 p.m. with no water, take pictures at those times. And then I'll let them do, usually like the next weekend, let's do them with water and see if you look better. And they always come back to the water thing. Now that doesn't always gain their trust. They're still always scared because now they're doing it on game day. But just telling them, the water is stored in the muscle tissue. Anything that spills out of the muscle cell would actually go to the bladder and get excreted out. And then, sodium is like the oars of the kayak, as you say, and water is like has the power of the Hoover Dam, as you say. So, if we were to put this in a ladder fashion, water is the most important, and then sodium is the second most important for a peaking concept. So if there was anything that you did not want to cut, it is for sure water, and definitely not sodium either.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting that you only have them do that experiment for one day, because you could make it worse. You could say, okay, let's cut water Thursday to something like a gallon, Friday, no water, Saturday, no water. And then Saturday, we're also going to take photos, morning and evening, like just traditional judging. And I mean, just feeling your own muscle tissue, how soft and non-impressive. You can't even get any blood flow because obviously there's no water left in your body to speak of in terms of dehydration levels. It should be super, super apparent, but I'm glad that you have people do that. I may have to remember that, make them go through kind of a dry run and see exactly how awful it is.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember this, but when Brittany Hamilton was going for her pro card, remember I had her cut water and I wanted a second eye. So I sent those photos to you, and her shoulders didn't go anywhere, but her glutes got flat as hell. And we just knew that was her weakness, actually. I was like, we just have to risk having bigger shoulders due to what happens to your glutes, because we actually wanted her smaller. So I was like, let's pull water, but her glutes looked awful. So we covered her shoulder with her hair, and that got her pro card. Just hide what we can.
What's amazing, some people don't realize, because we're looking at that key body part, like we judge our fullness on our chest or something else. But I posted a photo just this week of me in contest condition with abs. I just took a screenshot of my abs. And on a day when I'm just flat, like I don't have enough water or just woke up, my rectus abdominis panel is pretty unimpressive. But then with full water, like all of a sudden, the muscle tissue, you just have these blocks. And so, glutes, hamstrings, quads, even abs really fill out with the right level of hydration. Then you get those deeper muscle separations. I have a couple of sets of photos I use for peaking lectures and workshops that I do. And I have a pro female, before and after shots, and even her hamstring size looks twice as small when she's dehydrated, doesn't have enough water. And then you see those, the glutes fill in, like you said. And here we typically are looking at shoulders and, things like that. But I mean, it is everywhere. And you have to have the right level of hydration, sodium going into contest day.
They always called Mr. Olympia, Phil Heath, Mr. Saturday Night. They were like, he always fills out better. And I assume, without knowing any context of how he peaks, that's just the amount of time they has to get more water in by nighttime. And we see this with our clients all the time. And it's not on purpose, but they usually look a little bit better at night just because they've had more time to drink more water.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we know this gets a little redundant. You guys hear this from us all the time, but it's just that critical in a good experiment you can do, as Adam does with some of his clients. But stay tuned. Got a couple more episodes to come in this series on flawed peaking concepts. See you next time.